Today we're going to talk about why my dog Lucy is on a carnivore diet. Hi, I'm Jen. If you're new here, I am delighted to meet you. So my dog Lucy, she's almost 10 years old and she's a Doberman. Now they're fairly prone to developing fatty lipomas and she's had several throughout her life. She actually had 3, I think, removed about a year and a half ago. And it was a pretty traumatic experience for her. The vet suggested to use the umbrella head thing and also suggested wrapping where she had had her surgery and putting a t-shirt over it and tying it tight, and thought all of those things would help. Well, it didn't. Lucy is the most anxious dog that I've maybe ever known, and restraining her in any way like that just freaks her out to the point that she'll do a lot of different things for self-harm. So she'll just scratch herself to get the clothing or the wrapping or the umbrella thing. Lampshade, I guess, is probably what it's called. She will scratch it herself to get that stuff off and make herself bleed, or she will just sit in one spot. She won't eat or drink. I mean, it's a big fat mess. So the recovery from that surgery was not ideal. And after about 6 weeks, she was over it. But for those 6 weeks, see what I mean about timid? She's gonna kind of walk out here and then she's gonna get freaked out and walk back. There you go. But after about the 6 weeks, she was so much better and she was fine, but those fatty lipomas started to grow back. And I don't know that it was even the same ones, but she has other ones that have just started to grow back. So about a year to a year and a half after surgery, she started developing a very hard and very large growth on her side. It doesn't feel a thing like her fatty lipomas. It's not soft. It doesn't just move around in your fingers. It feels completely different. And I noticed it on September 11th, and just within a few days, it had grown so much. So I took her to the vet, and the vet said she didn't really know what it was, didn't necessarily think it was something she would test for, but rather just go ahead and have surgery and let's get it removed immediately. And I thought, oh, we did that once before. It was very traumatic for her. Other things are still growing back. How do we know if this is gonna grow back too? And the vet kind of said, I understand your concerns. Can't guarantee it's not gonna grow back. Some dogs, they just come in for surgery every 6 months or so and just keep having things removed, and that could be Lucy's fate as well. And I thought, oh, I don't know. I don't think that that's a good fit for my dog. She's such an anxious dog. I don't want her to have to go through recovery. That is not my first choice. So I decided to put her on a carnivore diet because I know how helpful it's been for me for managing chronic health conditions and just making me feel better. And also, obviously, she loves meat. She's a dog. So I actually started her on the diet around the beginning of October, and she's done great. And it's been a dream, really. I feed her 2 to 3% of her body weight in ounces of food each day. Her diet so far has included raw ground beef, some cooked meats too if I've cooked them for myself and they're left over, all beef hot dogs, organ meats, bones if they're from uncooked meat, some boiled and raw eggs, yogurt, organ meats, chicken feet. Those are the main things that I give her. Sometimes I also get meat from a local farmer, so it might just be a random assortment of deer meat or liver, cow heart, things like that. She loves it. Every time I feed her, she devours her food like she's the most starvingest animal that ever existed. But I promise you, she's not starving. She's actually gained a little bit of weight since going on this diet, which is great because she's always been a little bit underweight. And her condition has improved quite a bit, actually. So that huge lump on her side, it has shrunk probably by about 50%. Now, I will say most of the improvement I noticed in the first couple of months. She's been on this diet now for about 3 months, and it seems to have plateaued for sure. So it's possible it's not gonna get any better. But honestly, all I wanted was for the growth to stop getting bigger. If it could have just stabilized where it was, I would have been happy, but it's actually shrunk some, so I'm really pleased about that. She's got plenty of energy. She's so excited to eat every time she gets to. She loves her food and eats it instantly. She is just happier than I've ever seen her. Now her fatty lipomas that have been growing over time, I haven't noticed any change with those. As far as pooping is concerned, she does have looser stools now. Sometimes she has more diarrhea, and so I have to be really careful to add more bone to her diet or to give her yogurt. Sometimes I even give her probiotics. Ultimately, she is happy, she's thriving, she's loving her food, and it does cost me more, probably about double what I was paying for her kibble. But it's absolutely worth it. There's no going back for us. And frankly, I expect I will do this with every future dog I ever have. I hope you found this helpful. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram if you want to interact daily. That's where I'm most active.